Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news of the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today we're doing a State of Gaming, where we kind of do some deep dives into the gaming industry, and this one is about the new Battlefield for consoles. That's basically for accessibility, which it's more shifting into platforms now, right? Because consoles are kind of having their time in the sun, and now it's shifting into something else, and we'll get into all this. But first, excuse me, first consoles have always been following PC all along. And it's just been less of a hassle. So there's still been some constraints there, but like going digital only, kind of the death of physical media. PC's already been there for a while, right? Also having to install on your hard drive, the upscalers, the resolution increases like to 720p to 1080p to 4K, etc. Also, the higher frame rates from 30 to 60 to 120 over the years, also including ray tracing for lighting effects and all of this stuff. Consoles have always been a cheaper way to play, but tech also usually gets cheaper over time until it's obsolete as new stuff takes its place. And now we can, with $700, we can make a console pro basically play the equivalent of a $700 PC. And honestly, they are really, really close. Both Linus and Oh No, It's Alex have actually proven this. And so for most players, consoles and PCs are actually pretty comparable with what they can do. Now, of course, PC still has the better hardware if you have the coin. But if you're looking at kind of more of a budget system, both of them are pretty much there. And both of them have the upscalers. Both of them have the same resolution and a lot of the same frame rates. Again, it depends on the game, but we've never been closer. Also, the other thing between platforms has been the exclusivity. And while this has been a thing to some degree, it has probably lessened more than it's ever been. So for Xbox, let's talk about them. Their first big game was actually Halo 1, first released on Xbox on 2001, and then on PC in 2003. We've also had Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's always been on Windows, and also our first flight simulator was on Xbox, released in 2021. So we've had this duality of crossing now between platform and PC for Xbox. Xbox's first set of games to the PlayStation was in 2024 with Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, and Grounded, and then we've also had more since then. Still not all, like Starfield, right? That's an example, but more are expected and more are basically coming to PC, or excuse me, to PlayStation all the time. We also have more coming to Nintendo now with the Switch 2, with their upscaler from NVIDIA being able to play more games, being able to handle more of the graphics and such. And so we're lagging less behind again than we ever have. Next, too, we can also talk about PlayStation. They first released a God of War reboot series, which was initially released on the PlayStation 4 in 2018, and then on PC it was released in 2022. So basically had this 4-year period. Since then, there have been more announced and more coming over from PlayStation 5, and also from PlayStation 4. And what now took years now takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months. Even Spider-Man 2 was, I think, 15 months, and we got that actually pretty quickly, which is pretty insane. We also got Miles Morales. We also got Ghosts of Yote, which I think that was a couple of years, maybe 2.5 years. But it's honestly been pretty short period. You don't have to wait too long. And with so many games to play right now, it's not honestly that difficult to wait because there's so many choices. PlayStation has also sold publishing rights like MLB The Show and Death Stranding, and also leased IP like Hot Shots Golf and Patapon, even to someone over like Nintendo. They've also had day and date releases to Nintendo and also PC like Lego Horizon Adventures. So again, while it's not every single game, even with the last Sony Interactive Entertainment meeting this year, PlayStation has admitted that they're multi-platform. So they're still focusing on the console, they're still focusing on their PlayStation, but I think they enjoy the money that they're getting, whether a little bit or a lot, from the other platforms, and they even see their own business as multi-platform now. So this is really kind of a big deal because while a lot of the first-party titles that they have and also some of the third-party timed exclusivity, ultimately these games we continue to get. So we're getting Black Myth Wukong, we're getting Stellar Blade, we're getting Silent Hill 2, and honestly these games continue to keep coming. And there are even a few first-party games from PlayStation that we're getting even over at Xbox. and probably sometime in the future to some degree also to the Switch 2, again, because of the upscaler, like Destiny 2 and Marathon, if Marathon actually comes out. Now, Nintendo still is truly exclusive. They're not letting their games really go anywhere, but even they've changed a little bit with allowing with their upscaler and their hardware technology for their Switch 2, they're allowing more third party to actually play on the Switch than anything else. We honestly have one game that's first party for launch, which is Mario Kart World, and also 25 or more third party games at launch, which I think we've never quite seen that discrepancy before. But yeah, there are a ton of third-party games, and I think even Nintendo needs to understand that they can or even need some of the revenue from the third party. As first party isn't going to really cut it anymore, because even for them, it's taking longer to make these games. Because now they have 4K, now they have ray tracing, now it also has to work with an upscaler, and that's probably a little bit more challenging for them than what they've had in the past. So now taking a look at Xbox, they've partnered with Asus to make another ROG Ally. This is called the ROG Xbox Ally and ROG Xbox Ally X. So the first Ally was loaded with the Xbox app and Game Pass and ran on a really trashy Windows 11. And now we have the XAX and the XA that basically has the Xbox app and also has PC storefronts like Steam, Epic, and GOG and Battle.net.com. And this is all on a slimmed down version of Windows 11. Basically, they've taken anything that's not gaming related and removed it and just left the gaming side of Windows. And this is basically saving 2 gigabytes of RAM for every single handheld that's going to be out there. The XAX and the XA are going to have this slimmed down version of Windows 11, and then in 2026 they're planning on rolling out all other Windows 11 handhelds to basically have this upgraded version of Windows 11 gaming. Steam and Xbox 2 are no longer separate on a handheld. Now you can get Steam and now also PlayStation and Xbox all in one place, and it's on purpose, and the focus is truly player choice. On the XAX, you'll be able to get PlayStation's first party, basically through Steam. Whatever you buy on Steam is going to show up in a library, and the whole goal and point is to be able to have access to all of your libraries across all of these different types of storefronts. And Steam has a massive library, and too, usually at cheaper prices. It doesn't take as long, because again, Steam and Epic and GOG, they're all competing with each other. Well, now we're adding in the Xbox ecosystem and meshing all that together, and I honestly don't see the prices staying as high as for long. So while some games are going to be starting to be $80 games, like Outer Worlds 2, now that it's competing with all of these other storefronts, I don't really see that. Again, if it's cheaper to buy somewhere else and you can play it basically on your same device, then why not just buy the cheaper price? And I think that is ultimately the thing that Xbox is willing to deal with. They'll capture whoever's at 80, and then when it's discounted, they'll capture everybody else that's interested. Older ROG Allies, again, are going to get those Windows 11 gaming experience. First is going to be the first set of ROG Ally other handhelds like those that have already been put out. They're going to get the update in 26, and then everybody else that runs on Windows 11 is going to get this gaming update, maybe again in 2026 or in 2027. And so this is Xbox's idea for their console. Ultimately, it'll be the closest we've ever had to the Omni platform, with PC holding the title since 2022. Again, since PlayStation started putting their games over on Steam. And personally, I've dreamed of having this since like high school, since like the 2000s. Basically one device to play everything. My friends and I, we got frustrated with like, oh man, you're on PlayStation. Oh man, you're on Xbox. Oh man, you're on PC. And now these walls are kind of breaking down for everybody. And this, too, has been the desired thing above all for Gen Z and younger generations. And ultimately, this is the future, and I think Xbox sees this. And see, it's not exclusivity anymore, like probably for you and I, because basically anyone that's over 25 or in their 30s or 40s, we grew up with exclusivity, and that's all the platform was focused on. But now that's not going to be the case. And the younger generations, they don't know what it's like without smartphones and tablets and accessibility for whatever and all of these different types of storefronts for apps and tablets and everything else. And so, yeah, it makes sense for gaming to eventually go this way too. And I really think this was kind of the direction it was all going to go all along. And Play Anywhere from Xbox is far from perfect. There are over 1,000 titles, but also a lot of games are missing. And Game Pass works on filling in a lot of the gaps for this. But I do think it's ultimately a step in the right direction. Also, accessibility and how you play. The XAX will be able to basically be a portable PC if you're willing to hook up a Thunderbolt 4 external GPU. Therefore, you can have your all the way up to like a 5090 NVIDIA card, which is pretty insane. So now you can have your PC experience with the graphics of a true PC all in a small package, but it is going to cost you money. It's also a handheld by design, just like the Switch 2, right? It's portable, you can take it anywhere. And then also now you're getting this console experience where you can just pick and play your games across Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox, just like what a lot of us console players have already been expecting and experiencing. So the prices are going to be high for a lot of people. Again, we're expecting the XA to basically be, $500-$600, and we're expecting the XAX to be $800 or $900. But as more companies compete, as there's more barrier breaking between these walled gardens and advancements in tech, it's ultimately going to get cheaper for everybody. And again, if they're putting out the Windows 11 gaming experience to pretty much everybody that has already a Windows handheld, not Steam, but everyone else basically has Windows, then yeah, you're going to be getting some of the benefits of this anyway. And this isn't just a handheld wars anymore, but ultimately the freedom to provide any way to play possible with any game. And so, again, having a place to play Xbox and PlayStation and Steam and Battle.net and anywhere else all in one place is truly pretty amazing. And I think the younger generations are really going to like that, and that's what they're going to gear toward. Now, we already know what PlayStation is going to be focused on. Again, they had their Sony Interactive Entertainment meeting, and yeah, they're going to focus on the PlayStation 6. And I think they're going to keep who they've had already because they've locked in with their digital libraries. But again, for those that are younger, maybe don't necessarily have a PlayStation or an Xbox, or maybe they have kind of everything depending on their circumstances, the next generation of Xbox is really going to have a lot of pull, and it's really going to be interesting, I think. And Nintendo too is also just going to continue on with the console model and focusing on true exclusivity. But what's going to happen when, again, if it's just Windows 11 gaming version, you're talking about emulators, you're talking about other way to actually play some of these games. And so then there becomes no real walled garden at all. It just becomes completely open-ended and takes all of the walls down, which I think ultimately most of us want and most of us are excited for. So if you like what you saw, folks, you can always like and sub all that jazz. You can also follow me at Gaming Garbage 22 over at YouTube. Don't forget our playlist. There's a lot of different stuff that we do there on the channel. And then also you can follow me at Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee. But yeah, this whole thing, man, it's going to be pretty exciting to watch in real time. And I'll be keeping track of it right here, right on the channel. So with that, folks, I'll see you guys on the next one.